All right, so this is the first video of our moving experience, kind of documenting it. I was actually filming just a few minutes ago, and then my wife was moving one of our bigger lamps to check on it. She found one of our cats has been crapping behind it, which is phenomenal. Um, yeah, that's awesome. So I don't. I'm at a loss now. I don't even know what to say at this point. But we're starting a move process. So if you've seen any of my other videos, we're relocating from Kentucky to Georgia, so for work-related purpose. And I just thought maybe document it because last time I moved, which was in 2020, and it was in February 2020, so it's right before COVID hit. And I don't remember it was a 3 week process. We did it really fast, but I don't really remember a lot of it. And at the time, we were renting, so we didn't have to sell a house. Now we'd sell a house and buy a house and everything. And luckily, we're in a good enough financial position that we're going to be able to buy the new house necessarily before we have to sell the first house. But it'll still be an interesting process. So, kind of where we've done a lot of the legwork already. So we've gotten some moving estimates. Have a huge gym, but they're not too bad. Thankfully, it's not a very far move for being across a couple states, but it's still not extremely far. So estimates are coming in around 12,000, and that's full service packing and everything. And you can pack yourself, but then that talks 3,000. But at the end of the day, with everything we have going on right now, it's hard to pass up to just do a full service and be done with it. Especially just with the gym stuff, I have to disassemble it, but I would have to disassemble it anyways. So not a big deal. And so we've done that. I'll tell you one big thing that I didn't account for when we got our pre-approval. It just opened the floodgates, man. It's just so crazy that the credit report agencies sell your information. And so I got blown up by these robocalls from who knows who trying to advertise lending services. I don't need that. My experience previously, generally speaking, when you start working with a realtor, especially a really good realtor, they usually know some good lenders to work with. They do all the time in that local area. And that's usually the way you're probably going to go outside of whatever. And I've explored just doing direct with the banks themselves, but something like with PennyMac or somebody like that, and they're not going to give you that individual thing to, they'll just give you broad outlines. So, like working with somebody right now and talking to them on a Sunday and everything, and that's something you get working with, your local lender specialist, and that happened last time. So we were able to get it done, knocked out in 3 weeks. So right now we're doing virtual tours, and I tell you that's an eye-opening experience too. Because last time, we were 3.5 hours away, so it's not like it's a lot farther now. But we figured we'd do some virtual tours and narrow it down. So houses look great when you look at them. A lot of times you might see some stuff, but you think, it's not a big deal. Like the siding was coming off a few places, but overall it was in good shape. So you think, not a big deal. But then you find out it's just it's almost like it's a symptomatic of other things that didn't take care of in the house that you can't see in the pictures, but you start looking through and you're like, wait, what is that? What is that? What the hell? Or things that are, like one just pulled up is the only non-HOA house. And, you hear so many horror stories about HOAs, and I don't live in an HOA right now. And you hear so many of them, but then if you don't have an HOA, you also run into this. So roll up, and there was 10 cars in their front yard. 10 cars. I don't know if they're working on cars. I don't know what they're doing, but 10 cars. So I'm like, if I ever have to sell the house down the road, people are going to see that and be like, I don't want to move there. And I see that because I'm like, I don't want to move there, man. They're going to be working on cars at all hour, going up and down the street, doing who knows what. And I like a nice, quiet neighborhood, And, I don't like, I don't care if I know who my neighbors are, right? I like quiet, not be bothered and everything. And, I don't want to look across the street and see 10 freaking cars parked in the yard, That's not kind of whatever's in the garage, who knows, whatever. So, that's not everybody. It's just me. It's one of my preference. But again, I don't want to end up in an HOA that's, I don't like people telling you what you can and can't do within a measurable thing that, like, hey, let's be neighborly and try to maintain a certain standard, but not, not going to tell someone, hey, you got to park in your garage. You can't use your garage for a gym, or you can't do this, whatever. No, I don't want any crap like that. Just a nice, simple thing to say, hey, let's not use our front lawns as a parking lot. Let's, maintain a little bit of, standard on our yards and everything. Because when you're buying a nice house, you want to, because if you want that, go live in a more rural area or an area that's not, there's plenty of opportunity to be able to do. Like, look, I'm all for it. People want to work on their cars and stuff, but you got to have the right location for that. So, and maybe that is the right location for it, right? It's just not the right location for us to live in. But you see a lot of stuff. So we looked at 5 houses virtually yesterday, and 0 for 5, there's always something. Little things. I actually feel a lot better because as we're getting ready to sell our house, I was thinking, man, the cats have kind of tore up a little bit of the carpet, or they've done this and that. But these houses, there's cracks in the windows, there's wood rot, there's like part of the ceiling, the vents were all one had super caked on crap on the vents. I don't think you've ever kept your vents clean. And so it just says, if you're not doing the little stuff to maintain your house, what are the big stuff you're overlooking and not taking care of? And so that's a concern and everything. And that's one benefit of when you buy new or relatively new, you have less likely of an opportunity to run into that stuff. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So we got some more stuff coming up at 1:30, virtual tour. And then some more houses, and then we have our local realtor for selling the house showing up here today at 4 o'clock, who's going to help us to kind of get this place ready to get it for sale and everything. So just along the way, just going to give some observations and recommendations, but I'll give you this high-level thing. So we pursued the idea of doing pods versus full-service movers. Yeah, one of two things. Either pods just to do our gym stuff, because we have over 6,000 pounds of gym stuff. I thought, well, maybe that'll just make the full service move incredible. I tell you that it would have cost us more for them to move our house and us move our gym with pods than it would have for them to do it all. It's about maybe a $2,000 to $3,000 difference for the full service movers versus pods. For the 2 pods, we would have had at least, maybe a third, but at least 2. It was over $4,000. And then it's all on us to move it, as well as disassemble it. Unless we want to hire a helper, then that's going to add to the cost. All in, for us, to move our entire house through pods, probably would have needed at least 3 pods, and then that would have been at least $6,000. Plus, if you do any helpers, you're looking, somewhere between $60 to $100 an hour. So if it's a one day and you got maybe 2 or 3 helpers, say 2 helpers, you might be looking at $8,000. So the difference there isn't huge. I should have said maybe about $7,000 all in for the pods. Maybe 6 if you're doing it yourself, but 7 if you're doing them. And so all in, it's about half the full service movers. And so again, it depends on where you are financially, how much money you have on hand, how much time you have on hand, and all those sorts of things. Get friends, people to help you, stuff like that. All those things change the dynamic. So, and of course you can do U-Haul, which would be one of the cheaper options, depending on how much stuff you have. Obviously you can save a lot of money, especially if you have friends and you have a U-Haul. But I'm at the point now, if I have friends say, hey, can I help you move? I'll give you some money to help buy movers. Fuck that shit. But that's where we're at. So this will be first one. So check it out. We'll see. I can tell you it's a roller coaster ride, though. So I was pretty depressed yesterday after all those houses bombed out. But we'll see how they look today. So maybe I'll check in later.